Welcome back to Bucks Beat as we talk more Atlanta Braves. Kelly Crull hanging out with me today. Kelly, what in the world's gone wrong at the start of the season? We're now 1-8, the worst record in Major League Baseball. What's going on? What do you blame it on?
That's a great question to lead things off. And before I go down into the depths of, oh my goodness, because we're only 9-10 games into the season right now, I will say, without building in too many excuses, I think it is very, very difficult to be that team that is at spring training for nearly a month and a half and then has to do the West Coast trip right away. So they had that little puddle jump where they spent the last 2 games in Arizona, and then they went over and they had to play the Padres and the Dodgers, 2 of the best teams in the West. And they've been living out of a suitcase for basically over 2 months. And then they come back home, land at 6:30 in the morning, finally get that first win. Way to go. And then it was right back to, it was
then
like
the
let off. Yeah, then the rain poured, right?
Bad weather.
But beyond the schedule, which is not a fair excuse, it's not, about everything that could go wrong. The bats weren't there. Pitching, okay. Starters were okay. Bullpen, not so great. And when you don't have the runs that come in bunches like these guys are used to and will find, Buck, they will find it. Fans, Braves country, they will find it. They just haven't yet. And I think all of that has kind of compounded into a really wretched start, which they would admit. I don't think we freak out yet, but they all know this has been really, an ick moment. Can we say ick on this?
Terrible,
ick.
Atrocious, awful.
I knew you'd have all the, all the.
I have a hard time blaming it on the trip, starting on the road, because, isn't the worst, though, when you go to the East Coast, like you go to Chicago to start the season, and it's
cold,
like 30 degrees,
Fair.
and you're trying to go out and play baseball. This is... we're in San Diego and L.A. Come on.
But they're waking up at 7 in the morning during spring training, and then they're playing at what's the equivalent of you're right. No, it's not. It's not a fair excuse. I just think it was something that probably contributed a bit on top of just to your point, just bad baseball to begin the year.
Look, if it was 500, if we were sitting there close to 500, it wouldn't be a big deal. But
you're right.
When you look at this team, and we spoke about it in the last podcast, World Series or bust. And here we are sitting at 1-8, 30 teams playing Major League Baseball. Right now, we're the absolute worst out of 30 teams. It's just totally unacceptable. And you're right on it with the bats being quiet. Right now, my research is telling my research is telling me that we've got 5 guys hitting below the Mendoza line.
Yep.
And the Mendoza line, if you're hitting below the Mendoza line, you're lucky to be playing Major League Baseball. Ozzie at 194. We've got Riley at 143. He's off to a terrible start. De La Cruz, 167. We got Drake Baldwin, the fabulous rookie, at 154. And Kelnick couldn't hit it with one of those torpedo bats right now. He's hitting 154. By the way, when does the order for our torpedo bats?
I heard they were expedited.
When does that show up?
Should be any day now. Any day now. So does that mean all of a sudden you just get hits when you have this bat? I'm kidding, right? That's the thing, right? And we're making so much noise about these bats, and it's
kidding.
they're not going to go hit the ball for them unless maybe there's an AI generated chip in there that just finds the ball for them. I don't know. I'm kidding.
Well, maybe it helps with runners in stranded position. We've changed that. It used to be runners in scoring position. And with the Braves right now, nobody could be worse than us right now. We're calling it, the boys at the coffee shop are calling it runners in stranded position.
I see what you did there.
I hope I'm not going to get you in trouble being this upset about our start to the season. But, the bats are quiet. We're averaging, 2 runs a game. You just can't win. You can't win if you can't score.
What I've been saying to people is the slow start doesn't bother me as much as what's been exposed during the slow start, right? I still believe with 150 some games and as talented as this roster is, they'll go on a 7-game win streak somewhere along the lines. This will all even itself out. But what I don't love that we've seen in these first 8 games is the areas in which should have been addressed this offseason. right? The bullpen is going to be my number one right now. I don't like that we don't know who our 7th inning guy is. We don't really know our 8th inning guy. Yeah. And then even Rysel, Snit tries to go to him the other night for 4 outs it was, and that didn't work out so great for him either.
Yeah, they were first time out asking him to go 2 innings against the best team in baseball.
Granted, he hadn't pitched a whole lot, so...
Yeah, so that is a problem.
He needed work, but...
Bullpen was my concern coming into the season, was we had lost our 2... We had Iglesias back, and Iglesias has been tremendous over these first 2 seasons. 3rd year in the contract, and now he doesn't have the 2 setup men that he's had previously. I mean, right now, I'm guessing, and it looked like to me that Snit was getting this ready in the game that we won. Mm-hmm. And we've played 9 games. In the game that we won, it looked like he had Dylan Lee up in the 8th inning ready to go, and then you were going to see Iglesias get the ball for the 9th inning. So I believe that is what they have planned. Pierce Johnson, also a 3rd wheel in this high leverage setup situation role. But, it's been weak. And my concern turned out to be legitimate with the bullpen. I mean, we got this new office complex that the Braves bought, but that's not going to help us win baseball games. So, when you got a 1-run lead in the 8th inning, nobody cares about the office complex.
The money that those office complexes are supposed to be bringing in, Buck, they need to turn around and spend that on players, and then maybe it would make them better, right? Like, is that the formula we're looking for? But, and to your regard, it's not even just the bullpen for me, too. You don't lose Charlie Morton and Max Fried and not go out and get somebody and expect that rotation to be as strong as it was. I mean, I think we've been really impressed with Schwellenbach, obviously. We knew when it came to Chris Sale, I mean, he may not have another Cy Young year, but he's going to be a reliable guy naturally as your ace. Or you get Strider back healthy, awesome. But then I'm looking at like AJ Smith-Shawver. You're asking a lot of a kid who's had very little time up in the major leagues. And we've seen now, right? He has a lot of talent. That splitter is
the golf ball. I saw him playing golf last year, and he was impressive.
But he's still got a big learning curve to figure out at this level, and that's a hard thing to do.
I'm okay with the rotation right now, and what we've seen, the first time through, we're into the 2nd time through the rotation. Smith-Shawver, 3rd year with the big league club, and having played some minor league baseball and seen how these major league organizations operate, you only get so many chances to impress. And then the next thing you know, you're involved in some trade and you're shipped off somewhere else. So that's my concern about Smith-Shawver, is it seems to be the same problems that he's had in year number 1, year number 2, now year number 3, just not able to command the pitches in his repertoire. And that's going to get you in trouble at the big league level. The Reynaldo Lopez now, I believe, getting the procedure done today as we record on this Monday. Maybe it's tomorrow. He goes under the knife. They're going to check that out, and that's definitely a concern. But I think the rotation's been the best thing that we've had going on so far. There's one other problem that I was thinking about and wanted to bring up.
Okay.
And that was
because I just feel like I'm solving the Braves and world's problems today, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think? I think there's
couple of
huge
other
solutions coming
that I'm not sure members of the media have really dove into.
I'm sweating because I'm so uncertain of this. No, I'm kidding.
You're expecting to have Derek Schiller give you a call and say,
any moment now, I think my phone's not just kidding.
You guys are way too negative on our baseball team. What's going on? You're the home of the Braves. What are you doing?
The truth of it is, Buck, we were talking about it today. Michael Harris, as of the day we're recording this, hosting this charity golf event, and he and AJ Smith-Shawver were both out there, had a chance to talk to both of them, and both of those players, there's not a guy in that clubhouse right now that doesn't disagree with what they're hearing from people. They know it's been
the attitude is, come on, 9 games, it's a marathon. We're going to play 162 games. Hey, we're going to turn this thing. Or hey, don't worry about it. Everything's okay. We're going to have a 10-game win streak, and then we're going to be right back in the mix.
There's a lot of that, but I also think there's a lot of we never expected a lineup full of this much talent to all be cold at once.
Right, yeah.
And we've heard that before, too.
Expectations were high.
So now you've got guys pressing, and that's an odd thing to be talking about 8 games into the season. What do you mean you're pressing? So I do think that they know they can't just say, oh, we've got plenty of time. They know there's things they have to address. There's probably one of them thinking, hey, when these torpedo bats show up, look out. We're going to start squaring that ball up. Who's the first guy that's going to use one? Who's the first one?
Sean Murphy. I'm just guessing. Look, I got a couple.
He is coming back. Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple of
Sorry,
other
I got
concerns.
you. I took you down like a rabbit hole you weren't ready for. So
we got plenty of time on the podcast. No commercial breaks. We can go as long as we want.
Okay. Well, I love that. So what was this other
I think
problemo?
The front office has underestimated the impact of having strong leadership. When the Braves started this run, it's been a couple decades ago now of this excellence that we've become known for. We had Terry Pendleton was the leader of the baseball team. And nobody was a better leader than Terry Pendleton. And then we had Glavine and Smoltz and Chipper. And we were loaded with great quality, strong leadership as far as the players go. Then we had, like Chipper coached up Freddie. And then when Freddie got through with his early seasons and he was ready to accept some of the leadership role, that's exactly what Freddie Freeman did. Yep. And then we couldn't re-sign him. And then Dansby took over as the leader. Dansby Swanson was our leader. Strong leadership presence. If something needed to be said to somebody, Dansby Swanson didn't hesitate to step up and say it. Good, strong leadership. And then Dansby contract came up, and, well, the Braves didn't want to match the offer that came from the Chicago Cubs. So who leads this team now? Who led the team a year ago? That's my question. I read something earlier today in preparation for the show that right now Marcell Ozuna is the leader of this team. And I thought, what? Marcell Ozuna's the leader?
Poppy's got a lot of voice in there.
I wouldn't, I'm looking at a guy like Chris Sale. Look, I know normally when you're a veteran and you come to a new team, it's a little odd to step in and become a leader immediately. But I'm sure Chris Sale looks and says, okay, I've been with the organization for a year. Everybody in this room respects me and my performance level. Maybe it's time for Chris Sale to step up and establish himself as a good, strong leadership on this team. Look, let's be real here. Olsen and Riley, they got the quiet personality.
They're nice guys.
Nice guys.
You're wanting to know who's the guy with edge in there. I would use a different word. Who's the A-hole?
And I think Murphy is in that crew too. So you look at those three guys, Austin Riley, Matt Olson, and Sean Murphy. I would look to and say those guys look like guys that should accept some of the leadership role. But their personality, I don't think allows them. They're not wired
that way.
Yeah, I don't think that allows them to do that. So I think like a year ago and now starting this season, I just don't think there's a real strong leadership player in that locker room right now. And I think that's something that the front office has underestimated.
I don't think you're wrong,
Maybe you might want to factor that in when you're going through contract negotiations and you realize, like Freddie Freeman or Dansby Swanson, it's not just the statistics, all right? It's not just the numbers that they're bringing to the table. It's also about the leadership of the baseball team.
Yeah. So I want to pose something to you. I'm going to go through a couple of guys. One, you mentioned Glav and you mentioned Smoltzy. There's this theory out there now that if you're just an every fifth day guy, you can't be that guy you're talking about.
I don't buy that.
But I'm telling you, Chris Sale can be that guy. You're absolutely right. And I'll tell you the other one who is Spencer Strider, because he has no problems getting in guys' faces, telling guys how I've seen it. I personally have seen it behind closed doors.
That's tough to lead when you're on the disabled list.
That's
the injured
So that's my point. When he's back, maybe that helps. But I do think there's something to like, I know Austin has been pulled aside by a couple of veterans and been told, this is something now that you have to embrace, whether it's really in your DNA or not. You kind of have to be the guy because he's not there. Yeah. And there is one that's in AAA right now that people don't want to talk about, but he's one of those guys. I just don't know how you can bring him over because he's a guy who came from a different team. Braves picked him up late. You know who I'm talking about?
Who, Craig Kimbrell?
No, but it could be Craig. Anyway, Verdugo.
Verdugo,
he's edgy.
I mean,
he's your Jacques
but
Peterson.
He walks in that clubhouse when they do call him up. He doesn't know anybody in there.
Oh, they all know everybody, but you're right about, I don't know if he can be that guy because he hasn't been around. But he is that guy, to our point of, it's in his DNA to be the guy.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it works yet with that clubhouse because...
Yeah, and look, don't misunderstand. I don't believe, again, having played the game, I don't believe that being a leader is about calling a closed-door meeting when things aren't going well. I think it's more of a day-to-day.
Yeah.
Somebody's struggling, you go up and you take them to breakfast. You have a conversation with them. You encourage them. And then, look, if something tough needs to be said, you don't hesitate to stand up and say it in front of the team.
And there's also moments, right? Like there was a moment, Austin Riley, the other night, that rung up. He had in that moment, he could have gone bananas and Snit would have been out of that dugout so fast to back up his guy and just basically create some like chaos, fire. Like that's what you want to see. Even if Austin Riley comes into that dugout, let's bleep and go, guys. Let's go. Like that's all it has to be in that moment. And Austin has that.
Probably out of his comfort zone.
But it's going to have to, someone's going to have to kind of dig it out of him, I think,
all right, now the other thing.
Oh, boy. I thought we were done.
We're 1-8.
There.
We've got problems. We're 1-8.
Okay.
I think the roster changes in the first week of the season, I mean, it's mind-boggling. You know, I'm covering the Braves every single day of the season. And I've got to wake up and see who's on the roster from day to day. Profar suspended. Okay. Neris goes out there and he can't perform. He's gone. We got Chavez. Let's bring in the old timer and see what kind of magic he has when he puts on that Braves uniform. He's got nothing left. So he's out the door. Reynaldo Lopez goes down hurt. We've got... Trump behind the plate now. Trump is gone. We're switching out the shortstops. We don't know who the shortstop is. I'm on vacation. I'm wondering, where'd Fairchild come from? And who is he? It's a revolving door right now. And I believe that it limits the chemistry of the team, this constant change. And we're talking about the first week of the season, Kelly.
Yeah. I hear you.
That's all I've got, though.
I mean, I hear you on that. I think that some seasons are just a little like this at the beginning of the year when you've got a few spots and guys coming back healthy. There are going to be a lot of moves. The bullpen especially. You see that kind of often when a bullpen is not full of a lot of guys who have come back from the team before. They are doing the whole Neris experiment and okay, never mind. And next guy. Yeah, exactly. But you're right. There has been and the Profar stuff, we got into it a little bit, I think, on that last podcast, didn't we? That one's one that you just don't see that one coming. Nobody's expecting that. You don't go out and spend the only money you spend on a guy who then turns around and lets his team down by doing this, right? So that has a whole domino effect. Yeah. That's the Fairchild. That's the everything
Are all these moves necessary? I mean, it seems like Anthopoulos and his staff, they go overboard changing this up. I mean, if I'm a player, I'm walking in the locker room and I'm looking around saying, okay, who new is here today? Again, I think it limits the chemistry, but I don't know. Maybe better days are ahead. This is just a tough start. We're going to get past it. We're going to be okay.
We are, Buck.
Guys are going to start hitting with those torpedo bats. We're going to start scoring some runs. We'll solidify the bullpen. The rotation's going to be fine. And then we'll be right back out there competing with the Mets and Phillies. By the way, the Phillies coming to town.
Yeah, it's going to be
one of our primary competitors. They're off to a really good start, scoring 5 runs a game. With this new lineup, they got Trey Turner leading off. Schwarber's been kicked back to the cleanup spot, and they're back to a more conventional offense. This would be a good time to, jumpstart it and get going here because they are out of the gate really quick so far this season.
Yeah. I think the rain delay or the rain out maybe came in a decent time. They were able to reset.
More batting practice?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I still can't believe we played in a golf tournament today. We're 1-8. Come on, we should be.
It was for a good cause, Buck. It was
should have
charity.
said, look, forget about the charity event.
There weren't many guys out there.
You're coming to the ballpark. We've got a 9 a.m. meeting. Tell the wife and the kids that you're sorry you've been on this road trip, but we got to get to work here. We got to get this thing turned around.
That's not Snoot. That is not Snoot. He does not call 9 a.m. meetings. He slept until 1 p.m. today. I would almost guarantee it. And then, but there were guys, I'm sure, getting to the park, putting in work this afternoon. But you're right. But I like the way the pitching rotation lines up for the Phillies. I do like that. But you're right. They got to be able to beat teams with the bats. I mean, they just have to. Yeah. They can't rely all on the arms. And
Come on, guys. Let's
go, boys.
Come on. This World Series or bust. We can't be the worst team in baseball. All right, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. We'll be back with another one very soon. Kelly, thanks so much.
I'm done. That's it for me. If you keep asking me to solve problems,
that Braves
Buck,
gear
I'm out.
on, looking good. Thanks.
Thank you.